Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. It is time for my college football week 2 picks and score predictions. Week 1 was something else. We already got a decent bit of insight of some of these teams on who could be practical frauds this year and who really will contend to win it all this year. Like Florida State, for instance, was extremely disappointing. I'm not even going to get into that. I've already said what I needed to say to my family and friends about that one, and even on social media as well. But in general, like teams like Oregon were awfully strange, but like Georgia, like Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, these teams handling business like they should have. I mean, Georgia dominating Clemson, team like Notre Dame doing a great job on the road at Texas A&M. So yeah, we're only getting started, folks. Let's get straight into it. We're gonna start with the big one, a top 10 matchup here. We gotta start big here. Number 10 Michigan versus number 3 Texas. This is gonna be a very interesting game. Noon kickoff. I kind of hate that, to be honest. It's too big of a game to be a noon kickoff. I swear they need to start fixing some of this crap at the times and how big these games are slated to be. Interesting fact, this is going to be only the second time ever these two teams have played. So definitely one that is must watch. But Michigan, yeah, I know Michigan last week didn't look good until like the fourth quarter. Offense looked pretty anemic. I was really surprised. I was shocked at how Donovan Edwards played. He didn't do too well. That Michigan defense is what saved him. Now the question is Texas's defense. Texas's defense, the run defense last year was very solid. Pass defense was a little suspect. I wonder how Texas's defense is going to look against this Michigan offense, a Michigan offense that struggled. They're trying to figure out who's going to really be the guy at quarterback. Meanwhile, you flip the roles. Texas's offense, how much do they get slowed down by? Because we know Quinn Ewers is a playmaker. He has quite the ability to change the game on a dime. Receiving core wise, I feel like Texas can still get down deep on down the field on Michigan a little bit. Does Michigan come to play after a performance like that? I'd say so. Yeah, this is the home crowd's going to be raucous. It's going to be a chilly day, breezy, chance for some spotty showers. There's a pretty decent system coming through late this week. It's going to cool things down across a lot of the Midwest and Great Lakes region. So we're talking true fall-like weather for this football game. Texas is a 7.5-point favorite, by the way. That's a steep line a little bit to me. They were only favored 3.5. The Michigan struggle really caused this line to jump a bit. Over under just dropping. So, and also too, also forgot to mention, I am going to start doing a surefire pick of the week, basically my lock of the week, for only one game for each weekly video. I don't know if I'm going to do it for the NFL or not. We'll see. But it will not be this game. I was thinking about it until Texas's line. The line went to 7.5. I'm not sure about that, to be honest, guys, because we got to remember, home game for Michigan. They are a top 10 team. I know they're, struggling on offense. Texas, they did look great against Colorado State, a decent team, actually, I think on paper. But Texas, will they run away? I think there's a decent chance they bomb Michigan. I think there's a decent chance they blow them out. There's also a decent chance Michigan comes to play and slows them down quite a bit. Michigan's going to give them everything they got, I think. I think this is closer than some people think. Unfortunately, I do want Texas to win by a lot. I think Michigan, by the way, has not lost at home in like 5 years. Next up, number 16, Oklahoma State versus Arkansas. This is going to be a very good game. I actually am looking forward to this one. I think lots of offense will be on display here. Oak State, 7.5-point home favorite. It's going to be a beautiful day in Stillwater. I'm looking at mostly sunny skies, 72 roughly for the kickoff temperature. By the way, this is something I forgot to also address. The temperature you see on your screen will be the kickoff temperature. So do expect for it to be slightly warmer by the end of the game, obviously. It's an 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff. Oklahoma State taking care of business against South Dakota State. We know that the run game is what's really their calling card. Ollie Gordon, from what I've heard, when he has the ball, at least when he gets the ball, he's 25 times for carries. Oklahoma State was like 7-0 last year, something like that. Arkansas beat up a pretty bad team. We don't even know Arkansas's true ceiling. I don't think their ceiling is incredibly high, to be honest with you. But they do have a dual threat quarterback in Taylor Green. Sam Pittman's on the hot seat. We know that. Arkansas will they give teams fits this year? That's really a long-term question that's going to have to be answered through uh, on the spot when we actually get to the game, because there's only going to be so much speculation you can do. Oklahoma State's defense, I don't really think they improved much. I'm not really sure about that. I mean, South Dakota State scored 20 on them. So Arkansas, with an offense that Arkansas has that can do some things, I think this is going to be closer as well. I like the fact that Arkansas's got a chance here. I know it's on the road, but I'm going to give Arkansas a chance here. New offensive coordinator. Oklahoma State's going to have their hands full in this one, I think. Oklahoma State's got some of these games this year where people are going to be sweating it out watching it if you're a fan. By the way, I'm surprised they're not even rivals, and it's the first time in 44 years these two are playing. Arkansas leads the all-time series 30-15-1. Some interesting information at the bottom of your screen there. I love the scrolling text. If you guys like it, I hope you do, because I wanted to spice things up a little bit with these videos. So I have Oak State winning a close one, higher scoring. Next up, this one has been getting my attention a bit. It's been hard to figure out. Let's take a trip down to Nollins. Yeah, I've been saying Nollins a lot now. It's funny. If you don't know why I'm saying it like that, go watch my NFL Week 1 picks video. I talk about it there when I talk about the Saints. Yeah, by the way, too, my NFL Week 1 predictions are up now. Go check them out for this video. But anyway, in all seriousness, Tulane versus number 17 Kansas State. This game, you could smell potential upset alert with this one, just like with the last one. I really don't know what to think of Kansas State completely. I'm not completely on their train right now. I'm not completely on board with Avery Johnson. He did all right. Like one of those things where you do just enough. You call it a day. Although they won 41-6, you faced UT Martin. What does that improve? Nothing. Improves absolute jack squat. Nothing to me, to be honest with you. Kansas State last year on paper had one of the better run defenses in the Big 12. But their defense did not travel well at times, in my opinion. They were in some higher scoring affairs. Remember games like Iowa State at the end of the season, Texas, especially when they were on the road at Texas, Texas Tech even. But Tulane, no Michael Pratt, new head coach. Things are a bit different with Tulane. This offense, we don't quite know how their offense is going to go, and I think it will struggle at times. There's going to be some struggles. Freshman quarterback. Joe Sumrall's first year coaching. The defense, I think, can, hang on a little bit at times. Their run defense was one of the better ones in their respective conference last year. It was. They did not give up much on the ground. But that is going to be a focal point, I think, in this game. Kansas State's rushing attack. DJ Giddens, Dylan Edwards. I think they are going to be the differences in this game. This is a true road game for K-State. And remember, they lost to Tulane 2 years ago at home. So K-State's looking for a little bit of that revenge from a couple years ago. Also, this is only the third ever meeting between these two teams, and Tulane has won both matchups. Kansas State was an 8-point favorite. It's up to 10. There's a chance for some showers and thunderstorms. I do want to remind you, there is a flood watch in New Orleans through this week. Looks like some slow-moving system with lots of moisture. It's going to give way to quite a bit of rain down there. So that's something to kind of keep in mind as well. But there is a chance for showers and thunderstorms. It's not looking like a complete washout for the game, but if it ends up raining more than expected, I'd look for Kansas State's run game to get going. Tulane's could get going as well, but I think there's, a little bit too much unknown with Tulane, especially with their offense. It's kind of hard to be like, okay, can we trust our offense enough? I think it's close, though. I think it's going to be within the 10-point spread. That line's gone up high enough to where I'm like, okay, I think Tulane can cover. I think I can trust that now, so should be interesting. I mean, Kansas State could very well win by double digits. I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't know, man. I'm not really too high on this Wildcats team, and besides, their schedule's quite easy this year compared to the other Big 12 teams. Next up, this is a tough one. Syracuse hosting number 23 Georgia Tech. Tech is favored in 3 points. The line has not moved. Favored 3. That's interesting, to be honest with you, considering people are really jacked up on Georgia Tech right now. I mean, they're all like, wow, we beat Florida State in Ireland. We did this, we did that. Cut it out. We know, we get it. You beat Florida State. Stop hanging your damn head on that. Florida State is awful. They have shown that they are even worse than we thought. Georgia Tech's getting overhyped. some people don't want to admit it. Syracuse, I'm not saying Syracuse is the bread and butter of the ACC. I'm not. Syracuse got off to a slow start against Ohio, but Kyle McCord found his groove. That's a good sign. Especially now that they're home again. They got another week to gel. I like their chances here in this one. I think this line is bait, public bait for people to take. I was looking at it and I'm like, man, I don't trust Georgia Tech on the road here. This is their first true road game of the season. People are going to be like, well, that's a bunch of crap because they played in Ireland. That's a neutral site game, folks. Neutral site game. But either way, this is the first time in 9 seasons that Georgia Tech is ranked. Georgia Tech historically was good in the past. I mean, I think they have a share of the 1990 national championship or something like that with Colorado. But either way, Tech won by 9 last year. Syracuse's defense is of concern. They gave up a lot of yardage last week, 400 plus yards. 200 of those roughly were on the ground. Georgia Tech can run the ball a little bit. I mean, Haynes King can as well. It's going to be interesting, but you know what? I'm going against the public, and I'm taking Syracuse in an upset. It's a risky pick, I know. You're going to be like, wow, stop taking drugs. You should stop taking drugs if you really think Georgia Tech is a really, really, really good team. I mean, they have improved. They've improved, but I'm not sure if they're a top 25 team. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of banking against it a little bit, to be honest with you, because we've seen this a lot before in college football. These teams get off to these great starts, and then boom, they kind of crash a little bit. I like Syracuse. I think there's value in Syracuse. Give me them in an upset. Higher scoring game incoming. Very interesting matchup here. I know Georgia Tech has changed things around a little bit, but you need to remember, like I said, Florida State, very bad this year. And Syracuse at home, I like their chances here. Close one. Next up, we have the rivalry of Iowa and Iowa State for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. I think that's a pretty cool name for it, actually. Kind of the combining Cyclones and Hawkeyes. Good game. I mean, this, I was a good game. This is going to probably be more of a snooze fest defensively. I mean, however you want to look at it. Iowa's favored 3. The over-under is like really low. I meant to double check that one. It might not be the same, but it's okay. Looking at a pretty nice day, honestly. Mid-60s at kickoff, mostly sunny. Iowa has been in control of this series, 43-27. They met last year, lower scoring affair, 20-13. Iowa figured something out on offense, it seemed like. It took them quite a while against Illinois State, but I'm not fully still trusting this Iowa offense. I mean, it's just one game against an FCS team. Let's hold the phone. But I will tell you this, Iowa State looked like rhinoceros vomit against North Dakota. I mean, what in the hell was that offensive performance? You're meaning to tell me I'm supposed to trust Iowa State's offense? Rocco Brecht, and these guys? There's just no way it's going to happen on the road at a team, at an environment with a team that has a very elite defense. I know Iowa's offense is shaky, but come on, man. Give me Iowa, and this will be my surefire pick of the week. I feel confident Iowa covers the spread. I'm actually feeling pretty confident. Maybe a little too confident. I don't know, but you know what? 3's perfect. I mean, I find value in taking the points. Iowa State, I think, is going to really struggle a lot on the road. I mean, they held North Dakota to 3, but North Dakota is what? What are they? Seriously. I'm waiting. Cue the Jeopardy music. What is North Dakota's football team? Yeah, that's what I thought. Iowa covers the spread. This was hard. It was hard for me to pick a surefire pick of the week. It was, but I decided to ultimately go to this one. Is it an easy way out? Not entirely, because you never know. I mean, this Iowa's offense, it's all about Iowa's offense in this one. What do they do? How well do they do? So yeah. Okay, so moving forward, kind of froze up for a second there. I'm not sure why. We got Texas State versus UTSA. Ironically enough, this is a rivalry. Only 5 times ever these teams have played, and UTSA has won all those matchups. This game is going to be fun. This is going to be an offensive fight to the finish. We're talking lots of passing. I can see a lot of rushing attacks going well in both teams' favors. Texas State, now Jordan McLeod. They have Mahdi on the ground game. They even have the top 2 receivers back that did well last week. But Texas State damn near lost to Lamar. Very, very scary there, honestly. Texas State's defense was not very good last year, although in terms of allowing yards per carry was one of the better ones, top 30. Although I find that hard to believe, honestly. UTSA, these two teams honestly are pretty similar. High-powered offenses, very low engineered defenses. But Owen McCown UTSA performed well. ESPN really likes UTSA. I can see why, you know. I mean, UTSA's got a great offense too, but Texas State's only favored 1 point. You know, it's not surprising. This game is a coin flip. It's gonna be a hotter day in San Marcos, Texas. We're talking breezy winds out of the northeast, could be gusting up to 25 to 30 possibly. Throwing the ball could be a little difficult. So home environment. I think in these matchups, the home team has won every single time. Home field advantage has played a major role. I think we're going to stick with that, guys. I'm going to go Texas State to win this game. Special season that they're trying to build over there at Texas State. But UTSA, you know, they're trying their ways too. You know, filling that role for Frank Harris at quarterback as well. This is going to be a higher scoring game. Love it. I'm feeling the over too in this one. I mean, but then again, the win could cause an under if they're running more and they're struggling to throw the ball. We'll see. I mean, it just depends, but you can still score a lot when you run the ball well. And I mean, Texas State. We'll see. This game is literally gonna be fun. I hope you guys get a chance to kind of check this game out. Hopefully, if you're able to. It's on ESPNU, so it might be tougher for some. But yeah, Texas UTSA 5-0. Will Texas State break the streak? We'll see. They played last year in a tight, low-scoring finish. Next up, we have this game, honestly, not as interesting as I thought it was going to be. I don't know. We'll see. You know, I don't want to completely say it won't be interesting, but we have number 24 NC State playing in Charlotte at the site of the ACC Championship game. That's where it usually happens at. I thought it was in Raleigh, but then I was like, oh, crap, it's not. And then we have number 14 Tennessee coming on over to take on the challenge. The line has now jumped to Tennessee -8. It was 4.5, I think, roughly. NC State, what the hell is going on? Seriously, what is going on with you guys? Why are we struggling against West Carolina? NC State, did you get juiced or something? Did you get poisoned by your rivals or something? North Carolina, what happened? Seriously, what happened? Was there an inside operation in your building where they raided your place and gave you all drugs or something? What happened? What is going on? It's almost like NC State's defense just didn't know what to do. They gave up a lot in the first, 3 quarters. It was like, oh, gosh, what is going on? Especially considering the fact when you lose a player like they did at the linebacker position, who was he was among the best linebackers last year in the league. I have no idea. NC State seems to be suffering from some sort of issue. I don't know. And their offense was also struggling. Jordan Waters had to get going especially. And that's been a focus that I've been kind of wondering on, how is NC State's rushing attack going to get going this year? Because that is something that they, I believe they lacked in that last year, especially. And Grayson McCall did well. Once they got to the fourth quarter, it was a runaway. Tennessee blew out Chattanooga. I am not totally on Tennessee right now. I don't even want to be. I'm not even trying to be right now. I'm trying to, hang back a little bit. And I'm not a Tennessee hater. I like them, actually. I am kind of a fan of them, actually. Their offense is crazy. Nico, I'm not even saying his last name because it's ridiculous, but just saying DJ. I want to say DJ's name right now. But Nico, that Tennessee offense is ridiculous. Tennessee's defense, let's wait until we face a team like NC State. I want to wait to see what happens with NC State. If Tennessee's defense shows up, then I'm going to be like, okay, Tennessee's defense seems to have improved. But considering how NC State struggled in week 1, I don't know. I'm not even sure. This is a tough one. NC State, I think with this competition level climbing up, I think they try to play better, but, I mean, Tennessee is going to win this game. They're going to score at will. I mean, NC State scoring 30, I don't know. That depends on if Tennessee's defense did improve. I mean, I'm just reading stuff about, their elite defensive line, elite defense. I think people are just basing it off of week 1. And Tennessee's defense was absolute trash the last couple of years. I mean, do we remember the last couple of years of their defense? Their defense couldn't stop a thing from here to there. couldn't stop literal air from blowing. I don't know. It's like one of those things. But Tennessee, yeah, they could be a playoff team this year, but let's wait to see how things go, especially their defense, because if they can play some defense, man, Tennessee's going to be scary this year. I'm not going to lie. So, interesting game. Must watch. Also, must watch. I'll actually be watching this game. Hopefully, I'll be able to. A rivalry that is writing a new chapter, I would say. Nebraska versus Colorado. Man, you know the crowd's going to be absolutely going nuts at this one. Lincoln, Nebraska will be on fire. Saturday night, Nebraska is currently a 7.5-point favorite. I think they were favored 6.5. It's going to be a beautiful evening, beautiful night for football. Talking temperatures that start in the 70s, probably go down in the 60s by the time we're done with the game. Man, I'm going to keep things short and simple. Nebraska, Dylan Raiola looks like he could be the future for this team. Matt Rule, I mean, Nebraska is literally like climbing. This is the most hope that we have seen with this team in quite some time. Fans are like rejuvenated. It's great to see it. Nebraska obviously was once one of the most dominant teams in all of college football. Just look at the stats; it doesn't lie. Colorado barely beats an SCS team. Everyone's literally running their mouth about this team. We need. Some people need to be humbled right now. I mean, seriously, you might as well just stop talking. Stop talking about Colorado because you clearly have no idea what you're saying. Watching the game against North Dakota State was making my ears bleed because listening to these commentaries on ESPN are like every single time Colorado made a play, they had to make comparisons of these players. I think one of them even compared Travis Hunter to Jerry Rice, and I'm like, stop, shut up, man. You are horrible. Just glaze some more on Colorado. My lord, man. Yeah, just keep drooling. Just keep gleeking on Colorado. At this point, we're heading towards... I'm not even going to say it. Like I said, Colorado, offensively, they have those stars. They didn't have, like, one of those guys. Is Colorado even that good to begin with? Defensive line was solid, but their secondary was kind of trash, honestly. In North Dakota State, in a road environment... This is a team that has struggled on an SES championship in the last couple of years, too. So they've been also trying to work back to getting to their own winning ways by winning their respective national title in their respective division. But this game's been, I think a lot of people circling this one down. Nebraska's defense. The question is Colorado going to dominate as much as they did last year? Because when the game was in Colorado last year, they dominated from start to finish. This time it's in Nebraska. I think it's a completely different game. Colorado is not going to surprise Nebraska like that because Colorado was a much different look-alike team. Like they looked much different as a team. Like they were a team that obviously nobody really had film on. Although Shedeur was a junior last year and he played at Jackson State, you're talking a team that was put together with a lot of different players, and TCU was stunned by them. And Nebraska was worse last year by a bit. So now we're kind of meeting in the middle a little bit. And I'm not saying Colorado can't win this game. There are some advantages Colorado has, but with some of the receivers. But on defense, Colorado, I think is still trash. I think they're ass still on defense in ways. The defensive line did get after it, but then can the offensive line hold up? In terms of Nebraska, can Nebraska move the ball? I think they're going to. Will Nebraska's defense slow down some of the Colorado star players on offense? I think they could a little bit. I think Nebraska's going to win by roughly 10 points, 7 to 10 points. I don't know. The score prediction's tricky with this one because there's a lot of different ways this can go. But let me just finish it with this. I swear, what the hype Colorado gets is ridiculous. It's like, can we just stop? Just stop it. Dion is turning into a jackass at this point with certain things, like the reporter thing. Remember that recently? It's like Colorado, they're just making me not want to like them. Colorado should have lost to North Dakota State. People want to we got some people that just glaze this team. It's like, just stop. It's pathetic. It's getting to the point where it's getting disgusting, in my opinion. I mean, how about you glaze on Nebraska? Don't do that, because then, oh my gosh, everyone will not stop talking about Nebraska. Um, yeah, this is going to be a hostile environment. I expect this game to be physical. I would not be shocked if we had a fight in this game. Wouldn't be shocked. This is a long-term rivalry. These teams have had top five games in the '90s, like in 1990, 1994. We've had some big-time matchups. Well, built up big-time matchups between these two. Should be exciting under the lights in Lincoln. Next, the final game, number 7 Oregon versus Boise State. You know what? I think Dan Lanning is overrated as hell as a coach. I think he is. And you know, I was kind of wondering how Dylan Gabriel was going to do at Oregon, because he did have some issues with Oklahoma. It was like after that game against Texas last year, Oklahoma was not the same. Dylan Gabriel costed them the game against Kansas, and then they lost the following week at Oklahoma State. Now here we sit in this season. Oregon is touted as one of the best teams in the country. Their offensive line looked like Swiss cheese. Their defense was pretty much the only thing that kind of held it together. Oregon was favored like, what, 48 against Idaho? Oregon's defense, I'm not even buying the fact they have a good defense yet. I'm not going to. I mean, good lord. I mean, what is going on with this team? I mean, Dylan Gabriel's stats should have been like equated to an Oregon team that should have scored like 30 plus. But from what I have heard, he did some bit of dinks and doinks or whatever. Like they just passed a lot of short passes and stuff. It was like 40 completions, but like 380 yards. That's like less than 10 yards per pass play. Ridiculous. And then Boise State has zero defense. You can literally, I mean, oh my gosh. A elementary school team could probably score on Boise State. I'm serious. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, a much inexperienced team could probably, Mike Dad could probably score on this team. I don't know. Boise State's got the offense. You know, Ashton Jeanty had 6 rushing touchdowns. It was a crazy stat line he had. Now, what's interesting is Boise State has beat Oregon every time they played 3 times, dating back to 2008. Last time they played was in 2017. It was a bowl game. I forgot to put the name of that bowl game down. It's going to be a beautiful evening night. A little warm. I think there's heat warnings in Oregon right now, but I don't know. Either way, Oregon's favored almost 20 points. Oh, I don't know about that, man. You know, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to say Oregon gets it together and scores a lot more. We'll see. I hope so, because if they don't, we got a problem. We got a major problem, Oregon. If you can't score 40 plus against Boise State's defense, you got a problem. Boise State, I'm going to be optimistic and say they score a little bit. Because, again, I'm not sure about Oregon's defense. I have thought they were sus at times last year, you know. I don't know what to say about this game. I really don't. There's a bit of an enigma with this one. Just, again, does Oregon's offensive line do better? Will Dylan Gabriel throw it down the field with pride and they just destroy Boise State's defense? We'll see. That's it for my Week 2 picks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for Week 3 of both NFL and college football next week, and we will keep the ball rolling, folks. Can't wait. Also, stay tuned. My next episode of the Storm Front will be filmed, I think, on this Friday. If so, if I continue on with that plan, it will be released sometime next week, and I hope you guys stay tuned for that. Please take care, everyone. Have fun watching the NFL college football slate as well. NFL kicks off tomorrow in Kansas City. Going to be quite the season. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys again soon.